Yeah. Another week.
Welcome back.
I didn't
Welcome
keep
back.
tabs, but I'm pretty sure you whooped my ass this week, Charles. That's all I know.
Oh, no, well, we can't say that, bro. We haven't even gotten to the week yet.
This past week.
Oh, the past week, yeah, I did.
Monday night's game is over.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, we did well that one. Remember, we did
Yeah.
well. It didn't matter which direction you went. You ended up 7-5.
yeah.
It did. Now, if you picked some from me and some from Pat and went off on your own world, maybe you did a little bit better. But
Charles, I want to let you know on one thing. I don't know if you looked into this because you and I don't really gamble, but we did have this little side wager going just for this little Packer card. It's just a little fun thing between the two of us. I don't know if you noticed or not, but had you actually put money down on that Denver game, you would have probably made people a shitload of money because you called that one and you said they would cover.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the reasoning for that too, right, is for one, Sean Payton is a good fucking coach. He's a very good coach. And Russell Wilson, God.
You want to we'll say he's serviceable, but he lost
No,
weight.
I mean,
they talked about him losing weight and being way more agile.
This episode might just be about head coaches, and I'm okay with that. Because here's the kicker, right? When you've got a coach that you're able to buy into, right? Like, you see the program, you see the system, you feel it. You get an extra 10% in your tank. It doesn't matter if you were an 80% guy, now you're a 90% guy. We like to talk about 100 to 110% here. Let's be honest. Once a lot of these people get their paychecks, we do not see 100% anymore. Most of them are around 70 to 80 due to injury concerns, which, you know what? That's reasonable. It's reasonable. It's a market. It's a business. The owners and all the other people talk about it as a business. The players need to look at it as a business also. So not upset about that. Although the NBA, we have a really big issue. We'll jump on that later on. I don't think finding the players is enough. They don't care. They make way too much money on and off the court. But anyways, when you get into a system that you buy into, and I believe that's what Russell Wilson has received. Now, Terrell Sutton, we'll just say Sutton. I can't. The first names are following.
I don't know. We're not professionals.
But Sutton there, he had something funny on the old internet. He created an apology form to Russell Wilson, and I want to say I was tough on Russell Wilson because I probably was. That's who I am.
We were both tough on him earlier in the season. Remember, we picked on him. Let's ride.
And this week you have the Vikings and I have Denver, and I'm loving Denver again. For one specific reason. People keep picking against Denver because Miami put 70 on them. That is legitimately the only reason these people are picking against Denver is because this season they gave up 70 fucking points.
But I think Vegas has a lot to do with it. They push that narrative that, they have a bad defense. But I think you broke these numbers down. They don't actually have that bad of a fucking defense.
In the last 4 weeks, they're a rounded top 7.
Yeah, didn't they say that their defensive stats are just inflated because of that? They give up 700 yards that game. Of course, any defense gives up 700 yards, they're going to look like shit.
So in the NFL, this is a week-to-week, day-by-day league. Okay? For example, look at the Cincinnati game last night, right? Both quarterbacks got hurt. One didn't come back. And the whole game was different.
It was very weird. There was this weird tone after the tight end went down, Andrews.
Okay, Andrews, yeah.
And then Burrow comes out and he's flicking his wrist, and he had something going on before that game started because
absolutely
something on his wrist. What that is, I don't know, but
you got to ask too, was there ever the remark, let's just put it in a brace? Let's put it in a brace before something bad happens.
Yeah.
You got a $200 million man, and not one person in that damn room went, we should just keep this in a brace this game.
I heard there was
let's just call it what it is.
A load of money, Charles, on that game, and sports bettors are absolutely losing it because he had that thing on his wrist, and there's video and evidence that obviously this was a pre-existing thing
injury.
before the game, you're not going to probably be able to prove that because they're going to cover that shit up. But
Well,
there's
yeah,
lawsuits
absolutely.
to be had if bettors lost a shitload of
But in a
money.
civil court, you've got a pretty good chance to win. Now, if I was the other
Yeah,
side, the moment I got there, I would say, "Yo, this has got to go to trial." Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't let it pursue into the
No, you don't want
matters,
to drag it out. Oh, we've seen how those things work.
but no, because you'll lose in the civil court if you don't
Yeah.
drag it out. You will lose because the perception is there, and there's enough perception there to make a judgment call, and that's civil court. That's so for the most part, if you can put yourself in a trial court, do it. The opposite side doesn't want you. This is not legal advice under any circumstances,
No,
right?
Charles and I don't give legal
No,
advice. We
hell
just
no.
difference of
But
opinion most of the time anyway. So
if it was
you
my
either
situation,
either way.
if it was my situation and it was me, I'd be like, yo, we're going to trial. Because a whole bunch of those don't actually make it to trial. But anywho, yeah, fuck. Even old Davy Portnoy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. He tried to rush his through
yeah,
quick
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. 100K on the game too. But that's the NFL. Back to what we were saying. The NFL is a week by week league. Okay. So we were hot on the 49ers. I was hot on the 49ers. Then they went
Yep.
on a 3-game losing streak. What happened during that 3-game losing streak? They lost the best offensive tackle in the game for a couple of downs. They lost a young quarterback safety net in Deebo Samuel. I have CMC. I get it. The dude is a workhorse, right? But when the ball doesn't go to CMC, it's Deebo Samuel, then Greg Kittle,
And
right?
then
And
I
Greg Kittle's open most of the time because Deebo's got to be doubled. And if Brock just doesn't see
dude,
Kittle in time, it goes to CMC
where's
or
our boy
Brandon
been
Ayuk.
this year? Where's Ronnie Bell been this year? I haven't seen him since preseason. Is he
Bro,
hurt?
I mean, I'd have,
I
man,
heard he was
listen,
freaking balling out, and then all of a
I
sudden I
know,
haven't
but
heard a damn thing about him.
we literally just went over the schedule or the fucking staff of the 49ers. There's no room, man. There's
I
only
know.
one ball. There's only one ball
There's
in
only
so
one
many
ball.
plays.
Yeah,
It
ball
goes
don't lie.
CMC. We're sitting here laughing, and at the very last breath, I talk about Brandon Ayuk, who the 49ers are higher on than the Jets are high on Garrett Wilson. Right? Like,
Well, yeah, he's
I heard
done
it this
more.
morning. If you put Garrett Wilson on the 49ers, him and Ronnie Bell are watching tape. And Garrett Wilson's good, but Brandon Ayuk is great. And if you don't believe the voice, pull up this year's, I'm not telling you to, but for the listeners, pull up this season's
I think they're gonna ruin
stats
him.
with the two of them, right? Targets, completions, it's the PFF ranking, shit, all that shit. Brandon Ayuk is destroying Garrett Wilson. Oh, Garrett Wilson's got Zach Wilson. That's my fucking point, right? Like,
Speaking of Zach Wilson, you see the little headline down there. It says that he's good to go. He's gonna play. Plans
Wilson
to rock it. Plans to rock it despite his
Oh
elbow
yeah,
injury.
yeah.
We'll see.
Um,
We'll see. We'll see.
Robert Saleh said today or yesterday that there were heavenly hurdles that were going to or that were needed to be conquered in order for Wilson to play on Sunday. But
Charles.
I'm gonna tell you what, I've heard quite a bit about Robert and his job and all
Yeah.
this other baloney, and I get it, I do, but man, can there be a worse organization arguably than the Jets? They're destroying people's careers in an attempt to do what? Your season was over 75 fucking seconds into the year. It is what it is. You had a 40-year-old quarterback. That was probably going to happen. You don't know how it was probably going to happen, Pat. In the trade we got from him, the motherfucker had to play 65 snaps. Everyone knew he was going to get hurt.
65%. Yeah, he was gonna have to play like
65%.
13 games or some shit like that. Yeah.
Everyone knew he was going to be hurt. You've got probably one of the absolute worst offensive lines outside of Washington. Somehow or another, fuck Sam Howell doing great things, throwing the ball all over that
Young
broke
man,
ass
you can get the
Seattle
ball
team.
out quick. We'll keep it realistic. We'll keep it relative to what the NFL's got going on right now. We're gonna be hot on them when they're hot.
You want to know a solid? I'll give you a solid. I'll give you a solid take here. They have, I think it started with the fucking Green Bay Packers, right? So if the Green Bay Packers are in this win streak of yours and you're feeling on high heaven, you're sitting in the same boat as the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas fucking Cowboys. Neither one of those two teams has beaten a team this season over 500. It's crazy to even say otherwise. I'd laugh. But anywho, fucking Vegas not to cover. That's probably the safest thing I can tell you from this weekend. But the magical story with Dobbs, that's great and everything.
Could we get into Watson and Cleveland?
Yeah,
They just picked up Flacco. Like, really?
Shut up.
That's what they're gonna roll with is Flacco. I thought didn't PJ
Hey, who knows?
Washington or Parker or whatever the hell his name is? Didn't he do PJ Walker? Is that his name? I think the quarterback
PJ
for.
Walker, yeah.
Didn't he played pretty good for Cleveland?
Yeah, but he's hurt.
He's hurt now.
Too.
That's why Flacco.
Yeah, he was on the IR. He's already on the IR.
What a fall from grace that Flacco. You know who the backup quarterback is for Cleveland? A.J. McCarron, Charles.
Oh, the former Seattle fucking Battlehawk player.
Yeah.
Cause law.
We could be seeing him. We could be seeing him.
No, actually, I think, check this out. Don't fall asleep on Cleveland. Don't fall asleep on Cleveland. The last time Joe Flacco was a great quarterback, he had a defense that is comparable to Cleveland's defense right now.
Yeah, but he also had that defense when he was bad.
Well, that's
he
what I'm
went
saying.
Bad when he had a good team. I just don't. That team.
Who knows Baltimore. That division better? Who knows who knows that division better? And
never played against his other team. I guess never had to play against Baltimore.
Yeah, he played against Baltimore when he was with the Jets. I'm pretty sure he did.
Wasn't he with? No, he played against him when he was with the Colts. That's when it was.
Yeah, he's been all over the place.
Yeah, he's been. I forget he's bounced around so much.
Cleveland won a whole bunch of games with Deshaun Watson being the best player for the other team.
Yeah, when you toss the ball back and forth, that's what happens.
I'm saying I don't love the Browns, but I do love the Browns defense.
I don't love them either, but I do love the defense.
I love their defense. So
they did end up somehow beating one of the best teams, which is Baltimore. And obviously Baltimore's good. So.
And you have Rudy Ford, who can run the fucking ball, and Joe Flacco can throw the ball. He might not be throwing it 25 yards down the field accurately.
Right.
But he's going to get it 15 to 20, more accurate than what you had. Fuck, at one point, I don't think Deshaun Watson completed a pass 10 yards down the field, bro. He was going to throw an interception.
Dude, he played for 10 years.
Yeah. So we can't think about the Houston Texans Deshaun Watson. We got to think about who the Deshaun Watson was that we've been seeing. He was doing a little better. I've been hearing that's a fucking ball of trash. Okay. The only reason that Baltimore game was close was because Deshaun Watson was trash. The Browns should have ran away with that. Oh, but anywho, you're going to run the ball. He's going to have a better running back. Lamar Jackson is 59-17 for his career. So as long as he stays healthy, the Ravens are my pick to come out of the AFC.
Yeah, we always keep bringing up that crazy stat about Flacco's record versus the NFC. It was like 17-1 or 18.
Yeah,
just
Lamar Jackson. Nuts. Yeah, he's 17-1 now. Yeah, 17-1 against the NFC.
It's just nuts.
It just can't stop running. That's against the AFC also, which over the last few years has been just dominating, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been really good. So, well, let's go ahead and you got any more NFL news, or are we ready to jump right into our opinions on this Michigan saga?
I guess the other thing I was going to mention, did you hear about the Kirk Cousins thing, like the drama that he wants to come back and all the fans are like, we don't want you back or whatever. They're just like, we're done. We're moving on. It's weird.
I love weird. The NFC North, bro.
It is.
I love the NFC North because
crazy.
Outside of the Green Bay Packers, it's a fucking circus. And I don't care what anybody else says. Listen to this. The Bears, last time they had a winning coach, they fired him. You know why they fired him? Because he couldn't beat the Green Bay Packers. That was the reason old boy got fired. He couldn't.
Is that Lovie Smith?
Yes, 10-6.
Yeah.
10-6. They fired him because he couldn't beat the Green Bay Packers. That dude was so hurt. He left the NFL and he's never been back. He's still down in Illinois, if I remember correctly.
He's down in Illinois, yeah, coaching.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
So then you've got the Detroit Lions, who, if you talk to any one of their fans, they've already won the Super Bowl, by the way.
Lovable losers, yes.
It's just, and the horizon is a circus. It's a circus. The horizon is a circus. I tell you what, I got into a little conversation about Ben Johnson. And here's my honest to God feeling on Ben Johnson. Yeah, he got a raise, right? But check this out. If my plan is to coach in the NFL, does it stop at offensive coordinator?
No, you always take the next step. The next step up is always what you're looking for in football, for sure.
I understand why he stayed this year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking at the situation, I'd wait for the Chargers. But I tell you what, if the Chargers call Ben Johnson, you mean to tell me that San Diego and a whole bunch more money and a head coach title isn't going to get that dude out of Detroit, Michigan? Who knows?
We know this. We know this. What happens is good coaches never stick around anymore. They'll poach them. They'll steal them no matter what. So.
Well, I tell you what, if I make it as a coach in the NFL, I'm not stopping at linebacker coach. I'm not stopping at special teams coach.
No, even though this is a head coach, but we did see this with Craig Counsell. He took more money and he had a better job opportunity come along.
Turns out he might end up with Shohei Ohtani, which might be the exact reason why he took that coach
job. The other day, I was like, "You've got to be shitting me!" But I was
man, it'll be cool, bro. I'm gonna take every Shohei Ohtani card I get, and I'm gonna go to every fucking Cubs game down at that Brewers thing. Whatever.
We gotta go to a Cubs game now. If he gets
to the Cubs, we'll be able to see generational, once in a lifetime. Fuck it, man.
I can't believe it because
destroy us. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm down. I'm down to go.
Yeah, good for him.
Weekend series, man. We'll go to a weekend series with them.
But to continue the rant about the NFC North, so then you've got the Bears. Or wait, no. So we went Bears.
Oh,
we went Bears. Then we went to the Lions. Okay, and what can't we say? I could go on and on, but you know what? I'm going to end it with they're doing really good this year. And I'm more about representation than I am about anything else. For the majority of my life, my season wasn't about beating the Green Bay Packers. In fact, it was about Super Bowls. And I've seen 2 in my lifetime. Let that sink in, NFC North. I've seen 2 in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I think, 1986, right? I think that's when the Vikings were there. Was it 1986 or 1984? Yeah. Either way, they got fucking smoked by, I believe, either the Colts or the Raiders. Yeah, and I think it was like 51-14 or some shit like that. They've never been back. The Bears won it in 85. Let's be real. How many people alive that watched that fucking Super Bowl? Less than the fingers and toes on my body. I know personally. Okay, so that's been a long time as well. But then you've got the Minnesota Vikings, right? Yeah, they got smoked. They had that fantastic run a couple years ago. But the greatest thing about the Vikings is, and this is how I explain the Minnesota Vikings. You were down 2 scores to the Green Bay Packers, and had you won that game, you could have made it into the playoffs. There was less than 4 minutes on the clock. And Adrian Peterson was less than 10 yards away from breaking the all-time season rushing record. And you know what you chose to do? Throw the ball 4 fucking times and never get it back. That's the Minnesota Vikings. Or it's just like Barry Sanders not getting the ball on the goal line because the coach thought that everyone assumed Barry was going to get the ball, so you tried to throw it off. Yeah, everyone's going to get the ball. It's the same thing with Pete Carroll and Marshawn Lynch.
You know who they lost to in the Super Bowl as well?
The Raiders or the Colts?
They lost to the Raiders, but you know who the coach was for the Raiders when the Minnesota Vikings lost to them?
Oh, was it John Madden?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, John Madden. You're damn right it would be John Madden.
I was going to say, I wanted to lead you with this so that you could freaking talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was perfect. That was a lead into what's going on. I appreciate that one. That was a cool little fact that I was just Googling there. That was sweet. I knew he coached in the 70s into the 80s.
Yeah. You've got that claim to fame, but let's be real. It takes a hell of a lot more to get there and win. And let me be very clear with you, Detroit Lions fans. This is something that breaks my heart. This is going to break my heart to say it. But Jared Goff got a better team to the Super Bowl. That Rams team, that defense was much better, and the offense had way more weapons. He got to a Super Bowl and lost. And that next season, he was traded, and Matt Stafford left, and in one season won a fucking Super Bowl, right?
Well, I think, yeah.
Jared Goff is going to get you there. But if you somehow fucking make it,
that defense has to improve a lot. The offense is
they give up way too many big plays.
The defense,
and running
the defense,
quarterbacks,
though. Ooh, good
running
Lord.
quarterbacks destroy them, right?
To tear them up, yeah.
And I can hear it now. At least we got there. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's what the Packers were echoing. So yeah, come on, we don't want to hear that from you guys. For sure.
All right. I just don't understand it. Oh, and my whole life, Packer fans have been you've just been a really shitty Lions fan, and then we've had to respond otherwise because the whole country knows Green Bay Packer fans are great. Go to Lambeau Field one fucking time. You beat us by 50. We're still going to give you a fucking bratwurst, man. We're going to make sure you get home safe. I just told my wife, make sure she gets all the stuff out of the car. Someone's going to break the windows to steal it. All right.
But we're not. But you won't get but you won't have the Kia boys, Charles. It's not a Kia. You don't got to worry about that. At least your stuff will still be in there. The window will just be broken.
Yeah, that's a Subaru.
And they'll have a broken.
It's probably bulletproof, anyways.
Yes.
All right. Those who stay will be champions. When your team is winning, be ready to be tough because winning can make you soft. If you think my career has been a failure because I never won a national title, you have another thing coming. These are all quotes from arguably one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. A record of 143, 24, and 5 overall in the Big Ten during his time at Michigan, Bo Schembechler.
Rest in peace, Bo. Today is the anniversary of his death.
That's right. Today is the anniversary of his death. Now, I bring up these quotes and I bring up these statements because another thing many people talk about when they talk about Bo, you don't know Bo now, is that he created a culture that generated a stance that was no one person is bigger than the team. No one person is greater than the team. And we're talking from the towel child, whoever it is now, all the way up to the head coach. No one person is bigger than the team. And this is where my opinion comes in on this Michigan and Jim Harbaugh accepting the 3-game suspension. Is that I believe with everything inside of me that Jim Harbaugh is a Michigan man. He bleeds Michigan. He probably eats his breakfast and drinks his fucking coffee out of a Michigan bowl and a Michigan cup. So for him to be such a distraction to Team 144, I think it was breaking his heart. And I think that he loves the team so much, and there is veteran presence on the team, and that he has so much faith in the culture that is the University of Michigan, that this is nothing. This has to be about the team, and it was moving far away from the team. What do you think about that?
I think we talked about this earlier. Yeah. The shitty thing is, if you read the Big Ten's, what the Big Ten said and what Michigan said, and Michigan announced that Harbaugh's suspension will be upheld and that Michigan accepted it. They say Harbaugh accepted the suspension,
which pushes my thought even further.
If you read the Big Ten thing, it still says that it's open to interrogation and to investigation. Basically, if you read what they say, it's not the same terminology as what Michigan put out there.
Well,
which is what I'm saying. The Big Ten is assholes. They're saying they're closing it, but we know they've lied before, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not. The statement I read from them said that they're closing the investigation into Michigan. Now,
Well,
the
that's
NC2A isn't, but that's, and I believe I even posted it on. I just want to make sure because you're probably not wrong. If we're talking about potato patiti here.
it's different. Yeah, it's different terminology, and it
Okay,
doesn't
so
seem like they're being as
so I've got the Big Ten
shutting
statement here.
shutting door closed is what
The,
Michigan put out
the
there.
Big Ten conference commitment to student athletes, sportsmanship, and the commissioner's duty to protect the integrity of competition will never waver. That's a fucking joke in its own right. This dude got bullied by other coaches around the league. First time commissioner. I stand by my statement that this shit would never have happened in the SEC. Never. But anywho, moving forward. Today's decision by the University of Michigan, excuse me, to withdraw its legal challenge against the conference's November 10th notice of disciplinary action is indicative of the high standards and values that the conference and the university seek to uphold. The University of Michigan is a valued member of the Big Ten Conference, and the conference will continue to work cooperatively with the university and the NCAA during this process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't say that they
didn't say it
stopped
at
the
all.
investigation. No. See, that's what I'm
No.
saying. They said they're willing to cooperate. So it means that they closed their portion of it, but the NCAA who gave them all their I'm just saying that I don't trust either fucking entity in this scenario. I don't trust the NCAA and I don't trust the Big Ten. There's so many Michigan fans that are just saying, fuck the NCAA, fuck the Big Ten. But it's like you can't. They're screwed either way. What can they do? And you and I talked about this. The boosters, the entire team, move the fuck out of the Big Ten and just get the hell out of this whole situation. Is it going to follow them where they go? Probably.
Well, the NC2A is everywhere.
Yeah. No, I just mean this is going to follow them. Like the negativity from the stupid Buckeye fans and the Michigan State fans, the people who literally have nothing to talk about right now other than keeping Michigan's dick in their mouth. That's honestly, that's what it all comes down to.
Those conversations are funny. Those conversations are hilarious.
Oh,
I refuse to make stupid people famous. And I've found myself in a couple of those stupid people conversations. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So as you had brought to light also to my attention is that this investigation is over 3 years old. So we're talking about something that's happened.
I think I said 2.
2 years.
They said they've been investigating this for 2 years, but does that just mean that someone
my point is with this is that this is all in the past then. Exactly. We're talking about sign stealing that occurred in the past. If the investigation happened a couple of years ago, started a couple of years ago, and it's just coming to a front now, none of this has occurred over this last season.
I have no idea. I'm assuming we're going to find that out. I don't know if we're ever going to get to the bottom of it.
But it don't matter to me because I think that's the biggest point with all of this. I think that's the reason Harbaugh just said, let's do this. It's enough about me. It's about the team. I think that's what a lot of us Michigan fans keep forgetting also is that it's about the team, right? Like as much as we love Harbaugh and we do, well, it's the next man up mentality.
Yeah.
The next man up mentality goes for everyone on the team, including the head coach. We're in a great situation. We've got a great veteran locker room. And I tell you what, this just makes it that much better for us.
Can we just talk about the fact, Charles, they're going for 1,000?
Oh yeah,
tomorrow?
they'll be hitting 1,000 tomorrow. We're going for 1,000 wins. I shoved that down someone's throat today too. Said 999 wins, bitch. Yell at me when you've caught up.
Exactly.
Now you're talking about the past again, bro. What are you talking about? That's just because Ohio State beat Michigan for almost 2 decades. Yo, that's in the past, dude. Get off your shit, man. What are you talking about? It's in the
want to talk
bro.
about the past. Let's talk about the past.
Let's talk about the past, man.
Let's talk about George Washington being the president of the United States. That's the kind of stupidity is what these people are spewing out of their mouths.
Yeah, that's a lot of conversation. So I forget. I generally ask how much fuel one has in their time machine when I'm getting into an argument. I want to know how far I'm able to go back. Because God forbid we step on any fucking toes.
Is that a lithium ion battery? You need electricity.
Fuck, man. Hopefully they got solar panels because the bitch keeps going.
Exactly. It keeps going back. If you want to go back as far as Michigan can go back, you got to go back a long fucking way, buddy.
But I think that's something that a lot of us Michigan fans, we got to focus on. It's about Team 144. It's
Yeah.
not about Harbaugh. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Team 144 isn't going to be about Harbaugh.
Charles,
It'll be in Harbaugh's legacy.
Can I ask you if you have the same opinion on this as me?
Of course.
Excuse me. The bet thing, how all the players said bet, bet. I posted this on Twitter. I said, "You guys realize that's not about the investigation or the allegations." I go, from what I can understand, what that means is those players are unified. They're playing for each other. They're playing for a brotherhood. They're as a team. They
Well,
say bet.
I can stop you real quick. JJ
Well,
McCarthy on his social media himself explained the bet. It's
yeah,
bring everyone together. BET. Bring
yeah,
everyone together. Bet. That's why it was all capitalized. It was an acronym.
yeah. That's why I explained it to a guy on there. He's bet. I'm like, "Do you know what that means?" And I go, it means they're playing as a team, brotherhood. It
Yeah.
means togetherness. I said, bet against us. We're one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people
It's
don't
the same thing
understand.
with the pew. I wasn't just making a
Yeah.
joke. Pew. It was all caps. PEW. Prove everyone wrong. This is why
Yeah.
I love Michigan, right?
It is.
Check
They
this
don't
out
get
too.
it.
Check this out too. Like
Yeah.
when you go to hashtag anything Michigan, everything's grammatically correct. The capitalizations are all there. The follow through is there. The words are spelled correctly. Go hashtag fucking any other school. Ain't none of that shit's there. Hashtag Go Blue has over 10 million things, I believe. There's over 10 million uses. And the AI will correct it for you, capital G, capital B. Because when you're a part of Michigan, when you're at Michigan, when you breathe the air, right? It's a higher standard, bro. It's a higher standard. So
Oh, for sure.
a junkie is going to look at this situation and go, "Oh, bet, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if they found out that the coaches were gambling?" Shut the fuck up, Alabama. Your baseball
Today,
coach
Junior,
was literally fired for having
gambling.
people bet against his team, right?
Yeah.
Not go the over, go the under. No, bet to lose. We gonna lose
Yeah.
this game.
We're
For
gonna lose,
sure.
man. We're gonna lose. Bet to win. Bet to lose. Bet to win.
Right. Of course, you're going to see that. Fuck, man. They had Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel. You could make a fucking cookbook for dummies on the shit those two fucking pulled. Look how both of them ended up leaving their school. Every championship Ohio State has won in men's basketball and football has come with massive controversy afterwards and ultimately fallouts leading to head coaches or complete organization turnovers.
Yeah. Of all the teams you would think that would probably not want to be playing this game where they have this leg to stand on, dude, that fucking ostrich in the sand, dude, that's what your fucking head should be like right now. Just ignore everything that's fucking going on because you shouldn't be paying attention to it right now.
And the other thing, y'all are coming to the big house.
That's another thing I don't think people, they really think that Michigan's just going to lay down for them or what?
It's going to be sub 10 degrees at the big house.
I hope
so.
yeah.
You want to know what Ryan Day's excuse? Do you remember what Ryan Day's excuse was last year and why it wasn't going to happen again? That's because they played at the big house and the weather wasn't there. So then it was like 52 and gorgeous in Ohio. We still beat your ass.
Right. Yeah.
And both those games, we were either close,
Charles, do you know
tied, or
what
losing at
like?
halftime. So we got to keep
the
that.
weather?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's sub 10 degrees.
No,
Chile.
it's 34.
Yeah.
For the high, and it's supposed to snow. Exactly. With the wind chill, it's going to be sub 30, sub 20. It's probably in the 20s. But if it's going to snow, yeah.
And they play in that toilet, so they get it. Yeah, remember the toilet up in Munising? God, that wind would come in.
I hated that stadium.
Fuck, that shit was retarded.
But I remember a deer ran across the field one time. JV game. It was like deer season, October, bow season, and a deer came running down the fucking hill.
And I don't want to say this out loud, but the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game generally finds itself in the playoffs regardless. And I'm going to tell you this.
That's all going to come down to whether or not these teams stay undefeated or not. You're not going to put in Ohio State or Michigan isn't going to, with all this shit going around them.
Listen, Ohio State wouldn't get it this year. Not again. But I don't think that door is locked. If Michigan loses without their head coach amidst all of this controversy. Now, depending on what
That
we
would
do tomorrow,
I guess that would
yes.
depend on how bad they lose as well. Yeah, it's gonna matter how bad they lose because you can't
Bro,
lose by like
we
40.
fucking smoked Ohio State, goddamn 42-23, and they still made it in. The only
Well,
close portion of that game was the first half.
but do you want to know last year? I can honestly say this with a straight face. There wasn't a better team to put in there than Ohio State last year. Was there really?
I don't
Look at last year's game. I'm just saying, I'm not going to be that guy
name a
that's going to
okay,
be
but
like,
name a better team than Michigan.
if Michigan's not undefeated, yeah, you got to put a team like Florida State or Washington in if they're undefeated.
The
They didn't
college
win their
football
division. They didn't
whoa,
win the
whoa, whoa, whoa,
conference.
whoa, whoa. The college football playoff is about the 4 best teams, and it means nothing about a fucking conference. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but yes, but if you don't win those, if you didn't win all those games and those teams played a tougher schedule, it's going to go off of the RPI. It's not you and me being this the way. It's these stupid. And by the way, are they going to kick what's his face off Ward Manuel off of the playoff committee? That's the other thing I was wondering.
Yeah, we'll
How
talk
can he
about
be on the? Yeah, I didn't know. Are they going to, or is he going to recuse himself from the board?
I'm still trying to figure out how you made that argument considering everything we just went through in the past. Multiple teams have gotten in over undefeated
because
teams
it's not
because
you're
the better
basing your
team.
entire thing off of your heart. You're not looking at if Michigan played one team that was ranked.
Bro, is Michigan better than Florida State?
I don't know. I haven't seen them play.
What?
I don't know if they are.
I think you're fucking crazy right now.
If Michigan loses to Ohio State,
is Michigan better than Washington?
If they don't go undefeated, I would put Washington in because honestly, you can't jump a team. If they fucking are undefeated, they deserve to be in there.
No, God, no, because we already went through this with Air Force.
I know that you don't want this to happen. I'm saying this is what's going to happen.
Who has Washington played?
UCLA, USC, all these ranked teams. Oregon State. Charles, they have like 7 teams in that conference that are in the top 25, top 20 even, I think. Yeah.
Nothing on tape says Washington is better than Michigan. And if Michigan's only lost,
I'm not saying head to head. But if you lose, you shouldn't be in.
So how did this argument not fall suit with Ohio State last year?
Because the only other team had 2 losses. You can't put a 2-loss team in over a 1-loss team. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this without beer goggles on. Let's look at it. Last year, 2022 college football rankings. I think the only other team close enough was Alabama. Yes, Ohio State was 11-1, Alabama 11-2. You were going to put an 11-2 Alabama in over a 1-loss Ohio State. That's really what it comes down to. I don't see that. You can't. Those Alabama lost bad. You weren't going to put them in there. Yeah, this is why you can't put a 2-loss team in over a 1-loss team for the playoff. Come on now, let's be realistic. This is the only argument that I'm telling you. This is the only argument I have about it.
What is the difference between a 2-loss team and a 1-loss team,
because you lost your last game? You didn't have. Okay, you lost your last game is different than losing 2 games throughout the entire season. You can't tell me that's not right. You shouldn't get blown out twice and be able to make the playoff. I don't care who you played.
But are we forgetting about the elephant in the room in this entire situation?
And the only team they lost
the head coach was ripped from the sidelines.
I don't know if they're really. Do you really think at this point the NCAA, who makes that final decision, gives a shit? I don't think so. We care, but they don't.
With Michigan, with Harbaugh on the sideline, it's almost a lock. Michigan beats Ohio State. We're only talking about this right now because Harbaugh is not going to be at that game.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying I don't.
So how to take that into consideration? It's almost
because they're assholes. That's why
they have taken it into consideration before, though.
How because all right, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
You've been following like the playoff rankings. Why is it that Michigan hasn't lost a game and they're not number 2 in the country? How did they go from number 2 to number 3 to number 4 to number 3 to number 2?
Because they're watching this investigation. It is absolutely affecting the rankings. So if it's
they haven't lost,
the rankings,
though. Why is it affecting the rankings if they haven't lost?
Because what are you talking about here? I'm telling you that they're going to take this into consideration at the end they're taking it into consideration right now.
I don't think so. I think that they're going to be assholes.
Why,
I don't
why
trust
else would
anybody in
Michigan
that
be number
board.
3 then when everything else has them number 1?
What
What's
do you
your
mean everything
reasoning?
else
Because
has them
they're
number one?
assholes?
What do you mean? What do you mean everybody?
ESPN's FPI,
Who
fucking
has
the
them number
NC,
one? I don't see anywhere that they're number one.
not in the rankings. The team, the overall team, is number 1.
In what? No, I just think the one thing that we should be learning from this is that they're going to fuck Michigan no matter what they
How
want
can
to
you
do with
sit
it.
here and tell me that I'm basing decisions with my heart and you're basing your decisions off of the NCAA or assholes?
Because because they got an investigation going against Michigan. What do you mean? Are they not assholes? You're not agreeing with me that the NCAA is a bunch of assholes? Seriously?
I'm agreeing that the NCAA are assholes, but
You think that's going to change? That they're going to just be like, all of a sudden, they're going to be like, we put Michigan through so much. We got to take that into consideration. No, I bet you, if anything, they give them the middle finger and they tell them to kick rocks.
that is whatever. Okay. The best team in the country goes through all this bullshit. They lose at the end of the season to
They
Ohio
don't.
State.
They
don't
clearly
get in.
don't think they're the best team in the country because they don't have them ranked as the best team in the country. Playoff rankings are based off of the people that vote on
number
it.
1 in ESPN FBI rankings. Michigan climbs in the latest. It's, I guess, most of everything that's from the Maize and Brew.
Michigan is not number 1 in the FPI. Isn't that your?
I'm telling you right now, I'm looking right November 13th, 2023. Michigan finally crowned number 1 in ESPN FPI rankings. Michigan jumps rival Ohio State after their road win versus Penn State on Saturday. I'm telling you, Michigan is right now the best team in the fucking country. And if it doesn't, it is what it is regardless, but it's fucking hogwash if you keep the best team in the country because of a loss without their fucking head coach.
Dude, the FPI's got Oregon, Penn State in the top 5. That's FPI. That's not football
We
rank.
can't say
That's
Penn
schedule.
State isn't a good fucking team. The only reason
I'm
Ohio
not saying,
State was number
I'm
1
not
is Penn
Charles.
State.
I don't want to fight with you over this. I'm just saying that I don't think personally the NCAA is going to agree with what you're saying, is all I'm saying. I think they're going to say, fuck you guys. We don't want you in there because we don't want the headache.
If a business like the NCAA would look at Michigan and go, yeah, fuck you because of that and not the product on the field.
They already have.
I guess.
They already have. They've already talked about negating wins and championships and all kinds of shit. They've already said everything's on the table for punishment.
That's just way too negative. I can't sit here.
How is this negative? This is
bro,
what they're doing.
I can't sit here and agree with you with any of that after everything I've just reported on in the last 3 weeks. There is absolutely nothing connecting any of this to any of the situation. They could look for fucking 20 goddamn years. If there's nothing connecting anything, how are you going to punish?
We can say that, but they just fired a coach, is what I'm saying. Obviously, something's touching something. You can't say that there's nothing there.
The argument has never been Michigan didn't do anything.
No.
The argument was due process. If they're cleaning house from the idiots who were behind the scenes doing something without anyone else's knowledge, then yeah, that's a pretty good fucking sign for us. Not for anyone else. We're cleaning house, getting rid of the stank. Especially Uncle T. Apparently, whoever the fuck Uncle T is.
Apparently, it's not the booster that we thought.
Oh, it must not be the booster we thought. My argument
literally,
Michigan is the best team in the country. And
I guess we'll find that out next week, but I don't believe that they're gonna just turn a blind eye to everything that's going on and be like, if they lose, they're just gonna put them in there. I bet you they take a hard look at it and they give them the middle finger if that's what happens. I'm not saying I obviously don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying they're being such assholes with their investigation that I believe that's what they'll do.
Yeah, but you're not going to win an investigation being an asshole, dude. Like, the law eventually does come into play here. And if there's no evidence connecting anything, you can't just come in and go, I know you did something and this is why we're doing it. There's got to be proof.
They fired a guy. Obviously there's proof they fired a guy.
Yeah,
You didn't.
but there was
I'm not
never the
saying.
argument that something didn't happen. Obviously, we found who did it. Good on you. And then they got rid of him. I'm failing to see where this comes into play. I've never denied that Michigan didn't do something.
I think the problem is going to be is if they drag this shit out for just like you said, 5 to 7 years, what's going to happen is Michigan's going to stay in the Big Ten, and their decision's going to come down, and it's going to affect, like you said, hurt all these players that played all these years. If they take away scholarships or do something stupid, I just feel like they're going to drag it out.
But looking at the writing on
Don't
the
they
wall,
always do it? Don't they always drag out these investigations for
absolutely.
like 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, but looking at the writing on the wall, this investigation's already 2 years old. Things have obviously been found that led to all of these decisions, including the firing of a coach who had way too much to do with it, it appears. But that news about the coach didn't just happen in the last 48 hours. He got fired in the last 48 hours. Other entities acquired the information the NCAA had found out, right? So the NCAA knew this fucking guy did it, but couldn't connect it to Harbaugh. They couldn't connect it to any of the head coaches. So once all this smoke appeared, the NCAA said, hey, listen, Michigan, this is what fucking we know. Keep this shit up, and it's going to go south. Obviously, shit happened. And they went, holy fuck, shit happened. All right, yeah. Let's get rid of that guy, clean this fucking house up, and let's get back to football. I can't see it any other way because I'm not utilizing speculation here. Just because if I'm a head coach, how do I not know? How do you not know? I don't give a fuck how I don't know. The fact is you can't prove anything. The fact is I don't know.
That's the truth. How many head coaches would have been fired, Charles, had we used that information?
How many head coaches at a university like Michigan?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying, how many head coaches would have been fired based off that information? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah,
the coach needs to know everything. The coach needs to know everything, like that type of shit.
And that's the NC2A stance on it. The head coach. It starts with, and that had to do something in the 80s or something, because there was loopholes and the head coaches were doing things and not getting away with it. And the only way the NC2A could stop it was, listen, we don't fucking care. This is how it's going to go from now on. And that's just how it went. I believe it was the 80s.
That's just like this rule that they supposedly broke was only introduced in 94. Before that, it was fair game.
Yeah, and we've talked about the reasoning for it. That's the other kicker too, is that both sides, actually all three sides in this, are trash. And I hate to say it as a diehard Michigan fan, right? But obviously something happened. You'd be an idiot to not know that.
Yeah.
But in the reality of everything that is, right, the NC2A is going to take into account this season for Harbaugh in their delegation when it comes moving forward. And in fact, this could very well just be the very best case scenario for the path paved forward for Harbaugh to stay at Michigan.
I spoke about this. I said, I expect him to get picked up for another 5 years. I'm hoping anyway. And I do agree with you. When the firing was for cleaning house, I just really hope that the NCAA doesn't like, hey, Michigan wins out, goes into the Final Four, and all of a sudden January rolls around or December 31st, and they come out and say, we have our findings. You are not bowl eligible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying do you understand?
In the
Like,
text message, I told you, you stay negative, I'll stay optimistic. That's what I meant specifically about that. That's like my PTSD is just laughing right now, dude. That is
yeah, but
literally the absolute worst case scenario. That's why I wear water
we
shoes
also didn't
before I go
expect him to
into a
suspend
fucking game.
Harbaugh the day before the Penn State game either,
That's why
though.
I said that's my PTSD is just laughing right now, dude. Okay, we got to make one thing fucking clear here, real quick. The NCAA loves money, right? They love money over all other things. Is this an argument?
Yeah, it's
What was
it's
the most watched game in the fucking country this year?
right
Out of
now.
all the games, out of everything,
I have no
every
idea.
fucking thing, period. Michigan versus Penn State. What do you think is going to pull in a fuckload of money in about a week or two? In a week.
Well, every year they could play. Michigan could be
Listen,
have no wins. It's always going to pull in the
this is
most
my
amount of views.
this is my point. If Michigan loses, yeah, there's a lot of left and right that needs to happen. Whatever with the other teams, I get it.
Yeah,
But you can't tell me that money isn't the final deciding factor. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. The NCAA is greedy. They love money. In fact, they're digging into Harbaugh because Harbaugh's, hey, man, you guys need to give the kids more money.
yeah. I think that's definitely part of the reason why
Of
he's got
course,
a
that's
fucking bullseye on his
part of the
back for
reason
sure.
he's got.
100%.
But the other thing I'm looking at, and the other thing I'm feeling with this scenario too, and I didn't necessarily want to say it out loud because if I'm wrong, whatever, money is money. But
You want me to bleep it?
I think Harbaugh is in this for the kids.
Oh, I agree
I think
100%.
what he's able to do in college means way more to him than what he could personally achieve in the NFL.
Well, Charles, you and I, we can sit here and we had this conversation with William, him talking about the strength and conditioning coach, how
Yeah.
much that dude loved those players. Like, you don't think Jim, you and I both know Jim loves those
It's a
kids. Just,
culture.
yeah,
It's a culture.
exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
culture. But I'm settling on money. If the pieces on the board are right, money will win
I agree with
always.
you. I agree if that's the case that it comes down to. It's all about, and it in the NCAA is obviously always done it best interest of what the best game is going to be too, as far
And
as ratings go.
and
For sure.
let's just throw this headline out there real quick. Let's pretend that Ohio State manages to win, even though I could sit here and break down 100
Well,
ways why that isn't
you
going to
mean,
happen.
all right, and then Michigan sneaks in at 4 and they play each other again?
They
Is that what
play
you're
each
getting
other
at?
again, and can you
Or
tell me the
or the other way
headline
around even.
or the other way around? Can you
Yeah.
tell me the fucking headlines that would be screaming Harbaugh's revenge?
All
That
right,
game
Charles.
would bring
All
in
right. All right.
billions.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. Fuck me sideways with a cactus. I'm on Team Charles now. I totally 100% agree with you. And I was looking at this with fucking beer goggles on.
It's to me, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Now, again, though, I do agree with you very much. With the pieces on the board have to be right. Okay, if
Yeah.
Washington goes off and smashes the world, there's always next year. I
You know,
agree.
one thing,
But
can I ask you a question? The one thing that I guess I never understood, because we've always been in this BCS, CAA commissioners, like this group of
yeah,
people meeting. These teams actually, did you know that they get to send a representative to basically go out in front of them like a court and they get to present their case?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they get to talk to them. You know what I mean by that? They don't
I
like,
know what you're saying. I know what
they
you're
get to
saying.
go and like
Absolutely.
present their case.
Yeah.
Hey,
Alabama, after doing it with them, went on to fuck. Nick Saban was on literally every show possible,
oh
making
yeah,
a point for his team, and he had
yeah.
a very good one. Alabama, I think, Alabama would have been better than Ohio State last year. That might be what kicks us in the teeth, though. I
And you
mean,
know what?
Ohio State
Yeah.
ended the game well, but again, too, though, it's to me, it's more about money.
Charles, the guy that missed that field goal went to my kid's high school.
Oh,
He graduated from my kid's high school in Florida.
oh man.
Yeah, I guess they were super bummed. I was like, he's from Ohio State, though. I don't really give a shit. That was the part about it that made good. It made good for me, but whatever. Not that I
man.
want to see anybody fail. It's Michigan, so at the end of the day, we don't
But
care.
I tell you, I'm glad this whole thing's over. To be honest with you, in my mind, it is. The NC2A isn't going to come out, and I can't.
It'll be in the off season when they do anything. If I had to they're like you said, are they going to want to disrupt revenue right now? They want to disrupt a
Right.
revenue stream that's coming in billions of dollars over their head. There's no way, like you said. There's
It definitely worked out in TD, whatever his name is.
potato.
It definitely
Yeah.
worked out in his favor.
Oh yeah, for
The
sure.
media that game was crazy.
What do
And
you think the
again,
betting
too,
lines were like?
the Maryland game is going to get the same attention.
Did you all right, speaking of which, I made that little meme with the it looks like Roman Wilson riding a turtle. Anyway, uh the
Yeah.
line for the Michigan game, let's just be completely honest. It's at like 19 points for Michigan.
I think,
Are you
yeah,
fucking kidding me? You're fucking
yeah,
kidding me, right? And
no,
hey, another reason, fuck me sideways with a fucking cactus, Charles. I'm agreeing with you. They're basing this line off the fact that Sharon Moore is coaching Michigan.
yeah, 100%.
I
The
shouldn't. I
money,
see. I should have fucking seen this. I should have just looked at the line. I would have said, "Charles is right. I'm wrong. What
oh,
the
you
hell am
can't
I
do
doing
that.
here? This makes no fucking sense to
You
me now."
can't do
Now
that.
see. Now see. Guess what? I'm looking the other way, and I can see exactly what you're seeing. This is bullshit. How come this didn't happen earlier?
Honestly, the worst best thing for Michigan was that we won that, how we won that Penn State game.
Right?
It's
They've
not
got
that we
no
won the
film.
Penn State
Oh,
game.
they've got no film.
Yeah, they gave you absolutely action. And here's the best part, right? They gave Ohio State nightmare film. And this is what I mean by that. And this is
Oh,
again why
talking about
I
that 9-guy front.
that too. But Ohio State's biggest issue this year,
Run defense.
run defense. And they've got one weapon on offense. They've got lots of weapons. You can say whatever the hell you want. Who has shown up? One fucking person. And the game doesn't go well until that dude goes over 100 yards.
I think another thing people forget too, that Penn State's got two really good running backs.
Penn State was a top 3 everything, no matter where I went, they were
Rushing
top
team,
3
yeah.
defense. It
Yeah.
was fucking, and all we did was run the ball. We ran it 36 times. So you realize there was so many subliminal messages in that game. I could just be wrong. I could be crazy. I don't care. All right. I'm telling you, they didn't throw the ball because it was the least amount of throwing attempts since the last time Harbaugh had to leave.
Dude, did you
All right.
hear
And
that?
they ran the ball that many times because they wanted Ohio State to look at that tape and go, "We're coming for you."
Yeah.
That coaching staff is barely sleeping right now. I promise you, they're barely sleeping right now. You want to hear about a trap game? You think about Ohio State watching that run film and having to play one more team before they come up to us.
And they play Minnesota, and Minnesota's going to run the ball on them. They're going to try
Minnesota's gonna
anyway.
run the ball.
They're going to try. I don't know if they will, but
The
I mean, I'm
first
seeing-
half is going to be close.
yeah, Minnesota's
If
physical.
Minnesota and PJ
Yeah.
Fleck is smart. PJ Fleck is smart. But I just don't trust Minnesota's quarterback, and it's going to be the same scenario with Rutgers. There's going to be a couple of mistakes made on that offense that really shoot that Minnesota defense in the feet. And you can expect a broken play from Harrison against these teams. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, Michigan's cornerbacks are the number 1 in the country.
I think-
in
well, I
regards
think-
to shutdown. I know the slot wide receiver is like the
Uh,
lowest.
Sanders still. Yeah, he's got like a 37.2 rating, which is that's absurd.
Just
They're like, that's
absurd.
like literally nobody being able to catch a fucking pass.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for the games. I'm more excited for the Thanksgiving game. I'm pumped for that game. I'm really happy that Thanksgiving is before the game, though. I'm more happy about that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they've never pushed that game to a Thanksgiving like early afternoon game, like an 11 o'clock game.
Yeah,
They've stayed out of the NFL's review sites for that.
Yeah,
The mirror.
foolish though.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, there ain't an NFL game on that I'm
Oh no,
watching.
they couldn't touch them. They couldn't
over
touch them.
Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah,
No, that would be
even
like
even in those decades we were getting our ass kicked. I still watched
Yeah.
the first half over anything.
Wouldn't that be like the new tradition then? It'd be Michigan, Ohio State on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. I told my wife, I looked right at her, she's off on some concert, and I told her, I said, "You know what tomorrow is, right?" She goes, "What?" I said, 12:00 to 3. I don't give a fuck. She goes, "What?" Oh, the Michigan. I said, the
yeah.
Michigan game. She's getting it. She's getting it. I love her
Yeah.
to death. She's getting it.
I'm quiet during that time. I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't say anything.
yeah,
Manny goes
man.
in the other room and like sits at a table and doesn't even want it there. She reads a book, and
Last
then I
year
have
was
to be
rough.
quiet.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
year was rough. She mentioned, she goes, "Ah, what's the big deal? It's just a game." I had to sit her down for about an hour, let her know. And
How many
again,
people have strokes during that 3 hour period?
I
How many
even had
people
to
croak?
I
Yeah.
had to remind her too. It hurt actually. I love my wife. I love her with everything inside of me, but I've known Michigan for over 33 years. I don't count the
You
2
did
years.
you just
I've
did you
known
sit
Michigan
down
for
and
over
tell her,
30
be
years.
like, "Honey,
I've
listen, I love you with everything that I am."
I
I
swear to
go,
God, I said,
"But right now when this
yeah, I
game's
swear to
going
God.
on,
I
I'm
swear to
married to
God.
this
Yeah.
football game."
I said, "I love you with everything inside of me. You are my everything." But I've loved Michigan for over 33 years. I said,
And we ain't ready to break up yet,
I
so
don't know what to tell you. We went through some rough times,
yeah.
and we still made it. So
Charles is like, "We almost broke up a few times, but I
few
always come
times.
back to her.
Rich
Always come
Rodriguez,
back."
Rich Rodriguez almost gave me a heart attack twice.
Oh
So
man. Speaking of which, I've been talking to a couple football players that play for former coach Biff Poggi here for the
yeah,
Charlotte. What are they? The 49ers?
yeah,
I think they're the 49ers. Yeah, it'd be awesome if we could get Biff on here. Biff's a huge Michigan, big Harbaugh fan. I think they're best friends. That'd be
yeah. I was
awesome to
watching.
get
Yeah,
Biff on.
it would be real cool to get him on. Absolutely, I agree. I
Love
agree.
to
I
have
agree. I
Biff on.
agree.
Biff, if you're listening, Charles and I would love to have you on.
I've been loving. I've been catching what you've been saying on X.
I heard he reached out to Harbaugh and said he'd love to have him on the sidelines for the next 2 games. And I commented, I said, Biff, he's got a big one coming up these next 2 weeks. He's got 1,000 and he's got the game. So you
Yeah,
can't just take him away from us.
and just Harbaugh does have a brother who.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of a big deal, huh? A big deal.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I love it that Jesse Minter's dad is going to be the defensive or the linebackers coach. Everybody's like, dude, father son duo tomorrow for the Michigan game. Can't wait to see that.
I can't wait to see that. And Dan Campbell just got elected into somewhere too.
Oh, really?
No, I'm sorry. Adrian Hutchinson's father was just
Oh, Steve Hutchinson.
he was
Yes.
just selected to the 75-year Michigan team, I believe. I believe
Oh,
that
that's
was the
awesome.
75-year Michigan team. So congratulations, Steve.
But your
Good boy.
son won't be too far behind you. So
No, and
maybe.
actually, speaking of that, I did just get his rookie holiday parallel card in the mail today. I spent like
Oh, damn, Charles. Look
yeah,
at
dude.
you.
Fuck, spent $2 on that bitch.
If Charles and I got, yeah,
I don't want to tell you
quite the
guys about it. You
quite the
got me
quite the
whenever you
collection
want.
of fun toys, misfit toys.
Oh man. It's been a great episode, man. I've had the Santa Claus 2 on in the background. I love these episodes, dude. I love these episodes.
I almost got Charles to throw a fist at me through the computer screen, but it's all right.
Oh,
See, every
no.
now and then Charles and I will freaking get heated, but guess what? Charles always puts me in my place by the end of the episode. So
Hey, man,
you're
you put me
welcome.
in my place at the end of the episode. Fuck, dude. I can't
We're
tell you
good.
more than a handful of times. I love it.
I
I
love it.
love
It's
it.
fun. It's fun. It's entertainment.
You can't be right all the time.
I know I'm not right most of the time, so it's okay.
I mean, fuck. As I said, this is baseball for us, bro. We look at that ball maybe 4 to 6 times.
We should have that thing where we're fucking whiffing. You should go batter's cage when you're off point. When you're off point,
Get back in the box. Get back in the box.
you just go strike one, strike two, strike three.
Because I can't, man. Because for one, we're both passionate, right?
Yeah,
But I could be just as wrong. There comes a point, and what works for you and I
yeah.
a lot is that it's not about how we're saying, it's about what needs to be said to get over that horizon. Sometimes you're looking down at me going, bro, listen, just shut the fuck up. I'm way
Oh
down in
no.
that fucking horizon, bro.
I think that's part of the problem too, is that the passion is there so much sometimes that it's like you get mad at yourself and you start arguing with yourself in your own conversation, your own words, that you don't want to be wrong. And it would hurt you so much to be wrong that you're trying to drive the point right to your own fucking consciousness that, yes, I'm right no matter what. I don't fucking hear anything else. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get like that
Oh, man.
sometimes for sure. 100%.
Oh, fuck, dude. There's many years. I do. Before we end this episode, bro, I do want to bring. I'm stuck on this Browns game. Okay, I've got the Browns picked. Deshaun Watson's out.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot that you got that game.
Okay, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, and who are they playing again? They're playing the Steelers, right?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Kenny Pickett time. And it's did
it
the
makes me want
Steelers
to put
figure
Pickens
something
back.
out? Yeah, did the Steelers figure
Steelers just
something
keep
out?
winning. I don't know. It was
I
their
don't
last
wanna
game against
I don't
Green
wanna
Bay,
put you in
dude.
that situation. I
No,
just
they
wanted to
didn't.
ask you.
They didn't. No, they played Green Bay. That's what happened. Yeah, they played
You know
Joe
the
fucking
Packers
Barry.
Did you see the Packers, like, next 6 games? Like, dude, they're, like,
Oh my
10-point
god.
underdogs every game. But you wanna know the sad thing? They'll probably end up winning 1 or 2 of them damn games too.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's gonna be Thanksgiving. The Lions are going home hungry again.
Oh, man, that would be
Oh,
awesome.
that'd
Yeah,
be
you
so
just shove that
freaking
back down the
cool.
throat.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Dude,
I
do they
mean,
still give out the turducken on the Thanksgiving Day game?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Remember when the Cowboys guy took that and he's, "Give me the turducken." Was it Haley or something? He
Oh
wanted
yeah.
that
Yeah.
turducken really bad.
Man, I just right now I'm manifesting Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon eating turkeys with the Thanksgiving Day crew. Right now, I'm just manifesting it. This was gonna happen. We're gonna be there, just gonna be eating the. We're getting that dub, bro. We're getting that dub. I'm telling you.
I can't wait for it next week. I can't wait for your predict. You're gonna have that game. That'll be your game, the prediction game. That'll be
Yeah,
the Lions. That'll be yours.
I'll give you a score and I'll give you the reason why.
All right, perfect. We got
And
this set up already. Perfect for next week.
for everyone else out there too, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for your continued support, your engagements. They've been great. They've been fun. We love it. We love our fans, even all you Lions fans. We do love you, as we've mentioned many times before. This was only brought up because I got personal. I'm sorry, but the writing on the wall is what it is. We should just smile more.
Yeah.